Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. Happy New Year. I'm Amnon, your host for the next few hours, along with Nick.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And Gal is here.
Happy New Year, everyone.
And Spence is here.
Happy New Year. I think we should all be glad that we made it to this new year.
Yeah, we made it. Our number is...
Very fortunate.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, DudeInIT.com, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear.
Today's show is also made possible by Oxygen.
Yes.
What if I forgot how to breathe during the show?
You'd probably turn blue.
I've got a button here, a red button.
Our sponsor, Oxygen, has taken care of that.
Let me tell you, I've already got a problem right off the bat. So I'm trying to be a good tech consumer, a good person. I'm trying to, as Amnon always says, update your something or other at the end of the show. I'm trying to update my iPhone, and now I'm out of storage space. I have a 64 gigabyte, 65 gigabyte phone.
Jeez.
Hey, I've had the phone since 2018, full of pictures and videos. So last night I decided, okay, I'm not enough storage space. So I said, okay. So I plug it into my computer, I allow it, and I go into the iPhone's internal storage and I start dragging videos over to my desktop to back them up so I can delete them. Well, apparently that just doesn't work anymore because halfway through the copy of any video, I get a device attached to the system is not functioning and the iPhone blocks out the computer. So I literally have, I don't know how to get these videos off of my phone now.
Did you get the trust challenge when you plugged in the phone?
Yes, and I did do the trust challenge. I'm not getting it anymore. But even with the trust challenge, I can't get it. I already installed iTunes, the latest version. I cannot get these damn pictures off my phone.
Did you try just using, instead of dragging and dropping, did you try just using the Windows import from the photo?
No, because I want to be particular. I'm just trying to drag videos over.
No, it'll do both.
Okay.
But I mean, there's the, I don't know anything app that will just plug it in and it will drag. I have it disabled on mine because I do the thing like you do. I just drag over what I want.
It's not working.
Let me ask you if you know, I mean, I don't know anything about the iPhone, but is it possible that the reason you can't copy is because just like Windows, it needs some space to do these operations?
No. I got a couple videos over, but it seems like the larger videos are my problem.
Try moving the smaller stuff over first and
maybe
deleting it from the phone. And make some space, like Amnon was saying.
Did the ones that you moved, quote unquote, over disappear from the phone? Or are they still?
I think I deleted them from the File Explorer. So yeah, I assume that they deleted from the phone. What I'm doing is I'm going into Windows. I'm sorting by largest file size and just dragging those over. I'm not dragging anything in particular over.
Mm-hmm.
So
the only alternative I can suggest is
Google Drive.
Well, not Google Drive, but let's say you upload to my server through Nextcloud.
Yeah, I
which
mean, I
is
could do that.
Similar, yeah.
I
Just
just don't
something
want. I
unlimited.
don't know why this won't work. I mean, this is it's just stupid.
The other,
How much cloud storage do you have? Just the basic minimum?
No, I've got enough cloud storage, but I just want to keep these on my computer. And I've
No,
tried different
I
cables.
just wondered if you couldn't just throw some stuff over there too for a while.
And then
The
download
only
it.
problem with that is that on the iPhone, I have no way to sort by file size. So I'm trying to get rid of the, I've
Right.
got some larger things that I want to
Yeah.
just get off. I've got some longer videos and maybe some bigger pictures, and
Yeah,
I just
do
have
a-
no way to sort them.
Do an iPhone backup first, for sure.
I could, but Jesus, it's going to take freaking forever.
I know, but still, you should do a backup just to have it.
But I have the iCloud backup. I already paid for that.
Yeah, but even so, if you wanted to use the iCloud backup to restore the phone, it would take a long time. So if you have a local
it
backup,
would. That's true.
Katie
or
says,
just have a copy of a snapshot of what you got.
Yeah.
And
Katie
then
says
that way-
maybe you could delete from iCloud.
You can configure iCloud to not do a complete sync of everything. You can
Yeah.
just turn off the stuff.
I don't have these photos in iCloud, I don't think.
Do you have it synced with any other? You have no other Apple devices besides your phone, right?
No, I do not.
Yeah.
So it's not, and I already tried turning the first suggestion when you read online is to turn photo stream on, which I already did all that. So I did the basic troubleshooting. I turned the photo stream on. I tried 2 different cables, one a regular iPhone cable, a third party, 2 different ports on my computer. I might try another computer here in a little bit.
So there's one other option.
Yeah.
I remember dealing with something like this for a friend, and we ended up downloading an application that basically allows you to browse the entire file system on the iPhone from the PC. So instead of using the default drivers and all that, we use some proprietary application. Let me do a search, try to find that application for you.
I can't
don't
copy
think
anything.
It
I
was
just
a free
got-
one, but I think it was a shareware one, so it allowed some actions.
I just tried copying a 12 megabyte photo, and I just get it tries to load, and then it says a device attached to the system is not functioning, and then it just fails, and then I have to unplug
The
phone
error
and plug it
comes
back in.
on Windows.
Yeah, it's a Windows File Explorer error because it loses connection to the device. Real pain in the ass. I mean, it's just stupid.
Try connecting it to a different PC.
That's
Right.
what I think I'm going to try.
What about copying it to the Mac?
I mean, I could do that too.
Maybe it'll like it better.
Actually, that's not a
Okay.
bad idea.
I'm gonna paste a link to something called Ghostbuster.
Sure.
What you do is you unplug your phone, and then you run Ghostbuster, and you clean up the USB drivers from it. Basically cleans up the USB drivers from the registry, and then when you plug in, it's like a fresh, brand new connection to the
Gotcha.
PC. Okay, so maybe that'll help you.
All right, yeah, I'll give that a try after the show. I don't want to screw with my USB stuff now. So yeah, that's if anybody else. I was trying to be proactive with stuff, and it's ended up being a huge pain in my ass. So
I mean,
the more you know.
When you say it's going to take forever to back it up,
Well, it's because I just
what do you mean forever?
Because digging through
how long is forever? What do you consider forever?
Digging through
6 hours.
Digging through the photos on the iPhone is just going to take a significant amount of time, and then I'm going to have to back them all up to Google Drive. Yeah, hours.
Okay.
I just want to be able to go into Windows and drag these damn things. I mean, I've got it tethered to my computer. There's just no reason that I have to upload it to Google Drive. That's retarded.
So it fails even if it's a single file being dragged
Correct.
over. It fails.
Yep. It's weird. I backed up 273 megabytes of videos. It was 11 videos that came over fine, and then since then I haven't been able to get any more to come over. Very weird.
Try a different cable.
And different USB ports. Very, very weird.
Yeah, something's corrupted. Yeah,
I would
something's
think
going
so,
on.
or just but then if you read this issue online, people apparently have had this issue for years.
And you can
It sounds
open these
like,
videos.
What?
You can open these videos on the phone, no problem. The ones that fail.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
Gal, what were you saying?
it sounds like USB crap. So what happens with phones uh, is unlike, let's say, USB storage, they're using a different protocol for transferring the images.
Mhm.
And it's not like you're connected to a USB storage. At the beginning of the when they just started, I think Android phones allowed you like a straight to storage USB connection.
Yes.
An iPhone had this whatever you're experiencing, this image streaming protocol for USB, which is very similar to what digital DSLR cameras have. And I'm guessing that there's some bug in the implementation there that you know that just trips on your computer. I've seen it. I've seen it on Android phones a lot. I've seen it on cameras a lot.
They're definitely restricting what is accessible as local storage, because if you go
Yeah.
in, it shows up as basically a thumb drive. Then you click and you start to drill down, and the only folder you can open is DCIM.
Yeah, it's because it's all encrypted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a thumb drive. It's a very limited.
Well, it appears in Windows like a thumb drive.
Yeah,
It just shows, if you were to go to my PC, it would look like a thumb drive.
Yeah, and then that's got to do with the encryption, which is good. You don't want to be able to plug it
No,
into
you
a
don't want
computer.
that.
And
So what they're doing is just in that session, the trust opens those files up to being read.
it's weird. I'm
Whereas
not even
without-
getting the trust anymore.
Yeah.
I find
So
that to be odd.
that's something's wrong there, because
Yeah.
you need to maybe restart the phone, plug it in again, and see if
It's
you
a
can
good
get that
idea.
trust to
Yeah.
come back. Because they're now on to, but on my PC, when I plug my phone in, somehow I was able to set the trust to be permanent, just to recognize it and keep it. So when
Well,
I
it
plug
does
my
work.
I plug mine in now, and it just works. I don't have to go through the trust and put in the
Yeah.
passcode anymore.
So
You're at
I
the
don't wanna
latest
hop on it for-
iOS?
No, that's what I'm trying to do. Is I got to
Oh,
get
that's
this
right.
stuff
Yeah,
off
yeah,
to upgrade.
Well, you should.
So
If you upgrade from within iTunes, you can usually do it with no extra storage than
Okay.
if you did it over Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is going to require more storage.
yeah, it's got to download it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you do it to iTunes, it'll download it to your PC, then install it.
Okay.
might-
Well,
that might
I
get
could
you
give that a
best.
try.
Meanwhile, Gal put those links in there.
Yeah, I'll check those out.
64 gig.
That's turkey number one of the day, man.
It's what?
Turkey number one. We run into a weird problem. It's like making us lose our minds.
Oh, Spence. Anyway,
I found my turkey. I was digging through a bin of USB and sound cables, and for some reason, my turkey call was in there. I don't know why it was there, but I haven't seen it in years. So, oh, that's fun. Get that out. I used to go turkey hunting in New York. This has got to be 30 years old. This thing.
yeah. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Now, I mean, this morning, apparently we had some problem with Zoom. And Gallery installed it, and it's fine now. But got an article from last week that was interesting about Zoom. It says Zoom video communications has had an astonishing rise in 2020, emerging as the go-to service for work meetings and family get-togethers during the pandemic. Now, the company is considering whether it could replicate its success in video in an even more competitive market. Corporate. The company has begun developing a web email service and might offer a very early version of the product to some customers next year. That was from last year, obviously. According to two people with direct knowledge of the matter, the company also is looking into building a calendar application. One of the people said, the effort hasn't been reported previously. According to people familiar with the thinking, Zoom CEO Eric Yuan envisions broadening the company's video conferencing service into a full-fledged platform that would include email, messaging, and other productivity tools. One goal is to figure out what the next generation of email would look like rather than mimic existing products. The projects are still in the very early stages, and it is possible Zoom will decide not to move forward. So it sounds like a good move on their side. I mean, they have a lot of audience now and a lot of captive audience, and to do something like this it's kind of hard to fight Google for corporate or Microsoft for email and productivity, but sort of like Don Quixote going against the
What is
windmill.
the status of
Hey,
Zoom ownership?
nobody talks about it, but I think it's still Chinese. I mean, he is by his name.
Well, even with some of the proposed sales, if they went through, they were still going to have a Chinese component to this, and all of the back end stuff was built that way.
Yeah,
So
I
I
don't know.
wonder,
I don't know.
because they're actively going after these companies. They delisted 3 major Chinese corporations from the stock market.
Yeah.
This past week. It was a big deal. I mean, they're just it's just this. I don't know how this will fly. Uh, because it seems to be a pretty bipartisan complaint in some cases. Not, I mean, there's a lot of people who are just ignoring the whole Chinese thing, but there are several people they're pretty alarmed by it.
Well,
Even just from an owner, even if it was no surveillance threat, they're just concerned. Like we did, remember years ago when people were really concerned because the Chinese were buying real estate everywhere.
Yep.
In the country, and it just went. Japan did that. The first ones to do that was Japan.
Well,
and
it
then
was
that blew up on them because their whole economy collapsed, and they wound up selling all the stuff at a loss. But the Chinese have been buying U.S. real estate, buildings.
Well, back in the 70s and 80s, it was the Arab countries that were buying a lot of buildings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
and talking about cell phones, Verizon's new nationwide 5G network is reportedly slower than its LTE network, to the point that users are apparently better off just disabling 5G entirely unless they are near a wave network. The results come from testing done by PC Magazine, who points to dynamic spectrum sharing, or DSS, as the culprit. The tech lets carriers run LTE and 5G networks side by side, which is useful if, like Verizon, you don't yet have enough dedicated 5G spectrum. While the carrier has largely focused on its wave network until recently, it also has begun rolling out a mid-band nationwide 5G network, which promises to avoid wave's range issues by using DSS. The only catch is that with Verizon, it seems like this technology leads to worse performance in most cases for phones running in 5G mode. So if you got a Verizon and you got 5G and that's what you're using, try and disabling it and see if your phone is getting faster. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there are people out there who say, "Well, I've got 5G. That's all I care about. It's 5G." Well, you need to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do for you.
So what is the predominant 5G chipset that's being used? Is it the Qualcomm?
I have no idea.
Um,
I'm not into 5G.
Yeah, I'm looking that up now to see chipset manufacturers. It could be
But
a
it's
chipset issue.
but it's the system that because they're running it on 2 that's messing up. That's what they're saying. That they because it allows them to go both at the same times, that's what's screwing up. It's sort of like uh I would compare it to having Wi-Fi G and having a B machine. Remember how it used to kill everything else and everything will default to B?
Yes,
Uh,
that's still the case.
oh, okay.
You still have. Um, that's why you want AC or better,
Yeah.
because if you're just running N still will default back to. You want to turn the B stuff off, and the B and G you want to turn it off,
Hmm.
but you risk disabling some older devices.
Yeah.
So it dumbs it down to the lowest common denominator as far as being able to be heard on the network.
The reason why I thought that that story was interesting also is because a couple of weeks ago they went after T-Mobile in court or somewhere in FTC, saying that uh, T-Mobile should not claim that they are the best 5G. Oh, so there was a story about it, and here they come out to be not even as fast as their LTE network.
They all
Well,
lie, though. This is all of these
yeah.
networks. We're the fastest 5G network in the world. And it's like, okay, well, if you're all the fastest 5G, none of you are the fastest 5G.
AT&T is offering $250 a phone
What do you
To
mean a
switch?
phone?
to switch over to
Damn,
their network.
impressive.
So I went into BJ's and I ran into the AT&T person. I was asking about fiber. I didn't really care about mobile phone. Oh, what's your mobile phone? And I said Verizon. Oh, well, how many phones? I said 4. She said, we'll give you $1,000,
Jesus.
$1,000 gift card to move over to AT&T.
So,
I'll be damned.
have you thought about it?
Well, I've thought about it. We had a lot of discussion in the family because of the reputation for AT&T hadn't been so great.
'Cause
And
I've always had AT&T.
the coverage in Alaska at the time was horrible.
Hmm.
And so, because Verizon didn't have their own infrastructure up there, but they partnered and they actually had shops. So you could actually go into a Verizon store. And I was very happy with the Verizon service, even though it was roaming. But now supposedly AT&T, the woman told me, oh no, we've made $5 billion investment in building it out. And so it's possible. I don't think there are 4 of us on the plan, and I don't think my 2 daughters are too thrilled about going over to AT&T.
I've had AT&T since it was Singular. I think that's what it was
Yeah.
before.
Yep.
I've always been pretty happy with it.
I've had Verizon since it was GTE.
I had
I don't even know what
Verizon
that
said
is.
it was something one. It was
Amnon's had Verizon since
no,
tin cans and string were laid across the land.
Spence, before that, it was something one. Phone one or something one.
Yeah, my first phone was GTE. So I bought the brick. My first phone was
Yeah.
a brick.
Yeah. All right, so they'll give you $1,000.
$1,000.
You
Is
know,
your bill going to be cheaper though every month?
Yeah.
Is the
Oh,
question.
it's going to be like $70 a month cheaper, according to them.
I wonder how long that will last, though. That's always the
well,
problem.
they said. Well, she told me about how they protect you're locked in for a year, but no
Okay.
contract, and then the
That's
second
good.
year they limit how much percentage-wise how much it'll go up.
what did you do with your cell phones, the old ones, up till now?
What do you mean? The old?
I mean, when you change phones, what'd you do with the old one?
I kept them for a while for emergencies. Like you could use
Yeah.
any cell phone for 911.
Right.
So before the kids had their own phones,
Well, a lot of people,
I used to give them the old ones just to have as a
a
emergency.
lot of people sell them.
Yes. A lot of people hold on to them too. Like that's what I do.
Yeah. Now
I still have an old LG laying around.
I have an iPhone 6 Plus, I think.
so the one big outfit buying them is Gazzele.
Yeah, I've sold to them a couple times.
So Gazzele, one of the longest running used smartphone buyers in the US, has announced the end of its core trade-in program,
Well, damn it.
which let phone owners mail in phones and other electronic devices in exchange for cash. The news, revealed in an email Gazzele sent to some customers this week, means any prospective Gazzele customers will have to receive a quote and initiate the trade-in process by January 31st, allowing 30 days to mail in the phone. If they want to take advantage of the program, the service will shut down officially on February 1st, while any active trade-ins will be honored, they said. But yeah, it's over.
Well, I can tell you why. Because now all of the cell phone companies and Apple themselves offer that program. When Gazzele first started back in 2000 and I don't know, 10, 11, 12, nobody was doing trade-ins. You bought a phone, and at the time you didn't lease them. It was what, $300 or something. I remember the first couple iPhones, it was like $300 for the phone, and then it was just paid for through the cell phone bill. But now that everybody else is doing trade-ins, why would you trade your phone into Gazzele? AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, they'll all buy it back. Plus, Apple will buy it back themselves and then refurb it.
And they probably
literally
give
no
you
reason to use them.
Yeah. Well,
so, and by the way, I have been able to successfully copy my videos now.
How? So tell us.
Know. I don't know. I just kept trying.
All it took, the computer heard us talking about it and said, "Oh crap!"
I've just copied 7 gigabytes worth of videos over.
So do you have the room now? Is it
I've got almost 10 gigabytes free on the phone, which I haven't had in probably 10 years.
I guess what I'm asking is, did it give you the space right away, or you had to go then and delete those that you copied?
No, I'm deleting them from the File Explorer. So when I delete them from there, it deletes them from the phone.
Okay.
So,
right. So why can't you delete more?
I'm slowly going through there.
Okay.
Because it's a camera. Everything's in folders. It's like DCIM, 111, 110.
Mm-hmm.
So
good.
Yep. Now I did reboot the phone. That may have been the golden trick, Spence.
Yes.
I don't know, but I rebooted the phone and I turned the phone off and I plugged it into the computer and it turned itself on, because that's what it does when it gets power. So maybe that did it. I'm not sure.
No, all the warm, friendly electrons were passed back and forth between Microsoft and Apple, and they felt
good.
That's it.
So now I'm going to do the iOS update. So we'll see what happens.
Probably because it's charging the iPhone with the Windows power.
That's it.
Well, yesterday when I was trying it, I realized that I was in low battery mode. So I was thinking, oh man, maybe that was my issue, but then turned out not to be. So.
No.
That's how, and I'll say this for any potential advertisers out there, this is the benefit of Computers 2K Now. When you talk about getting results, we're less than 40 minutes into the show. Results.
Hey.
Just saying. Hey, you want to be part of a good time? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Staying on cell phone. T-Mobile has announced a data breach exposing customers' proprietary network information, which they call CPNI, including phone numbers and call records. Starting this week, T-Mobile began texting customers that a security incident exposed their account's information. And according to them, its security team recently discovered malicious, unauthorized access to their systems. After bringing in a cybersecurity firm to perform an investigation, T-Mobile found that threat actors gained access to the telecommunications information generated by customers, known as CPNI. The information exposed in this breach includes phone numbers, call records, and the number of lines of an account. So everybody's having these problems.
Yeah, but so what you're describing is really, really problematic. It's not phone numbers today are a unique identifier for customers,
for a lot of
for
stuff.
a lot of services.
Yep.
And not only that, the moment hackers have a list of who's on T-Mobile, if they have a way of cloning a number to a different SIM, just by bribing somebody working in a T-Mobile shop, for example,
Yep.
then they can take over that phone and bypass any two-factor authentication that's based on SMS. And they do it a lot. So this breach is probably as bad as the experienced SSN breach. Okay. So take that into account when you're hearing these details. This one is it's far more brutal than credit card number breach.
Yeah, because they do it right there and then.
Identity.
Yeah, when they clone it, I mean, before anybody has any chance of doing anything, they got what they wanted.
And not only that, you are very unlikely to go and change your phone number just because T-Mobile got breached.
Right.
Right? Because then you're going to be disconnected from the world. So
the best thing.
Not wrong. It's just hard.
The best thing is don't use it as an identifier, but you can't escape it in some cases.
I'm a T-Mobile customer, but luckily none of my identifying details has to do with my phone number, because my phone number is I use Google Voice, right? If Google Voice will get breached in some manner like that, I'm screwed, right? Just because, well, actually not that screwed, because one thing that cannot happen, nobody can take my phone number from Google, right? Other than the Google system. There's no like claiming that number while I own it. There's nothing in the system that will allow that. There's no human being involved in that process, right? Hacking usually is done through the human being in the process, and that's not the case. So I'm probably not as concerned as what happened in T-Mobile at this point, but those who use their T-Mobile number for two-factor authentication, yeah, they should think and see what they can do to switch to application-based two-factor, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, every time if you look at if you try to log in, like I tried to log into the bank account to get the statement, the first option and the default option that they would rather use is to send you a text.
Okay, to be fair, the people that, for most people, that, God is not going to like this, for most people, non-tech people, I would agree that is if you could not have two-factor authentication. Okay, let me rephrase this. If the option is no two-factor authentication or SMS-based two-factor authentication, I think for most people, the SMS-based is better. So for a bank, which is a great example, you've got people that are not technically literate at all, and then people that are, like us, like total tech nerds. So I think making SMS available as the default option makes a lot of sense, because I would say 90% of your users, they don't know what Authy is or Google Authenticator or any of that stuff. They've never used it. So, and they wouldn't know what to do with it. And they would just click remind me later, remind me later, remind me later, remind me later. And they never set it up. So while I agree that there are huge flaws, and it's known that there are huge flaws with SMS authentication, I think for a majority of people, it is a whole hell of a lot better than just clicking remind me later or maybe next time, which is what people do because you don't want to be bothered with it.
Okay, but my point is, why not use email for?
Oh, that's even worse.
Because
Not necessarily.
wait,
I mean, I think email authentication is, but the threat with email authentication, for example, Amnon, I bet you don't have a password on your computer.
yeah, I do. But what's the?
Well, okay. So if I broke into your house,
Yeah,
right,
right.
and you're out of town for the weekend, I break into your house and sit down at your computer.
You can. I mean, the password for the computer is meaningless. I mean, you can.
No. But the point
But
is,
there is,
okay. So
yeah.
Nevertheless, if let's say I stole your laptop. You're out at a coffee shop. I steal your laptop.
Yeah.
And if you've got a password manager that's already logged in, I need now one device to log into your thing because it's going to send to your email, which is likely on that computer. I do not like email authenticate two-factor at all.
Okay, but listen.
Right, but you're talking about physical access.
Oh, yes, which I think is a part of it.
But listen to this, Nick.
And a lot of people use the same passwords for everything. So
But so two-factor authentication, right, is not going to save you from physical access. Two-factor authentication is going to save you, right, from remote access. Physical access, given enough time, you can bypass it 100% of the time. Okay,
I agree. But if I've got my SMS two-factor authentication on my bank and you jack my laptop from a Starbucks, you're still SOL. You're not going to get into my bank account. Now, eventually you can probably, but by that point, I know that my laptop is stolen.
Unless it's targeted, because if it's targeted, then I just clone your
I
phone
would make
number,
the argument,
right,
most
using social.
Here is my point in that whole thing, and why? Because I weigh the odds. What are the odds of T-Mobile being breached or Verizon being breached and my number is out there? And what are the odds that somebody is going to break into the house, get my computer, and get my email password? The odds are that those bad actors are not going after my computer at home, but they're going after those organizations where they can get a whole shitload of passwords.
I agree.
And then they already have it. They don't need to. They really. I mean, if they come in here, they take a big risk of getting caught. They don't when they're doing it anonymously somewhere on the internet. So that's what I'm talking about. So why not an email? Why not a phone call?
Well, that's most services like a bank offer, like my bank offers a phone call and a text message.
Right. But my point is that by default, that SMS is the one. And that's what I think
it's the best. It's two separate devices.
Well, it's not bad, Amnon. It's not bad, SMS. It's as good as email.
Yeah, okay? But I think it's better than email. It's two separate devices.
I don't agree that it's better. It's as good. It's not better in any way, and it's not lesser in any way. Either of them. Both of them are hackable. That's what people need to understand. Okay.
Okay,
that's all. That's the only message that I want. It's not foolproof 100%. They're 97%. Okay, they're good, but they're not perfect. There's very few perfect solutions. That's all. That's the only thing that probably the message needs to be. Is you have it. You're probably. It's like It's like walking in the neighborhood and seeing those security system signs, right?
Yeah.
Those security system signs are for the burglar to know, hey, go to my neighbor because here you're going to spend a lot more time breaking in, right?
True.
So that's probably the most important aspect of understanding self security, managing security with these environments. Now, even two-factor authentication based on an app, based on, even that isn't perfect, but it is more secure than something that is relying on a completely third-party service, whether it's email or SMS. Okay, we're still relying on a different environment that's going to send it to, and that can be hacked. And because there are large companies behind those phone companies, there is this feeling that SMS might be safer, right? But because so many people are involved in the service of that company, and those people are in contact constantly with providing support and technical and access and stuff like that, that's why it is more hackable. Whenever people are involved, it is actually more hackable than when you're dealing with pure technology, right? With just business machines talking to business machines. It just makes it easier to hack. Both of them are hackable. Both of them are hackable. The access is just different, and it is easier to hack a person psychologically. Claiming stress of an emergency situation, activating the internal fight or flight instincts, right? Then figuring out access to an encrypted system with multiple layer of security. Both of them are hackable, but which is easier? And that's all that there is to say. Two-factor authentication is always better than none. Always.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amnon, I'm not going to be able to continue with the show because I just got a call that I have a warrant out for my arrest. I have to go deal with it.
Oh, that was me calling you.
Oh, it was? Oh.
Yeah, turn yourself in, please.
Got me. You got me.
I guess the reason I'm saying that email is better is Gal just said something that made a lot of sense. Nobody can disclose my password to anybody because I am the one that, I mean, when you do it, when you have your own, so I need to think outside the box. And I'm not. I'm thinking in my situation, you're going to have to ask me.
Well, what I would recommend you do is think outside the bun, like Taco Bell does. That's what I would recommend. I think they've got a good idea.
Yum, yum.
Amnon,
No,
you called me last night in the middle of the night. You sounded really groggy.
Yeah, I know.
You kept telling me passwords.
Did I say kerfuffle or something like that?
Something like that.
Confifi?
Kofifi, yeah.
What's it, that the number station, those old Russian things, the Soviet era shortwave stations where it would just be random numbers that they would be broadcasting? That's what Amnon was doing to you last night?
That's it. It was triggering their embedded, the embedded Soviet training.
If
what do they call them? A sleeper agent.
If I did it late at night, I must have been doing it in my sleep because I went to bed at 9:15.
Do you remember the movie Telephone?
No.
Amnon? Remember, it was about a bunch of Soviet sleeper agents that were triggered by, they get a phone call and they would say a phrase to them and they would go off and they'd find where they had set up a put in place a bomb for something.
Yeah,
they were supposed to go into action when war started, but then the war didn't happen. But they had all these agents programmed. Wow. And so this rogue Russian agent decided, well, I'm going to have some fun. So he starts calling these people. And
I don't remember that one, but I do remember the Naked Gun, which was pretty much the same.
Yes. There were quite a few.
It was
movies.
A parody of that, but yeah.
There was quite a few of them that had the same subject. Yeah. All
I
right,
think it was Telephone by Charles Bronson and Donald Pleasance.
Spence, are you ready for
Specials.
specials?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
special?
So it's the Sunday specials. Back to normal. That's today's theme. We're back.
Oh my God,
to
you got the
normal.
date right.
I did. I had to. It took me a while, Nick. I had to research it. I had to have confirmed by 2 independent sources to make sure I have the date right.
Yeah, Snopes and CNN.
That's it. 2 very, very reliable sources. Oh boy, but back to normal. Here we are. We're all ready to be sitting in front of our TVs and just to collect information. But I thought we'd have a little bit of a blast from the past here. A couple of memes from prior years. The crew at Computers 2K Now wishes you a happy new year. This is from 2018. Which one are you, Amnon? Are you the one with the blue eye makeup on?
Must be.
Must be. Well, they all have blue eye makeup, so well, it doesn't matter. And then this was one I put together. I remember it was for 2019 Black Friday, fighting over televisions. This was all before the world got spinning out of control, right? All right, so back to the original format today. Most of the vendors, Staples, I think, was probably the easiest one to work with as far as going back to and Fry's, I should say. I've got Fry's on here too. But going back to the original format, how easy it is to actually
Nice.
cut and paste stuff into the PowerPoint. All right, so starting with Staples, they have the Apple iPod 2nd generation for $129, which is $30 off. By the way, I'm very, very happy with the Skull Candy. They're low-end earbuds that I bought. For some reason, they actually designed something that stays in my ear. It's absolutely amazing, comfortable, and it comes with a little charging case. This is the ones I got at Costco on sale. I'm very happy with it. I've had other earbuds before, but these are probably the best ones I've had. Lenovo IdeaPad 3 i3 laptop for $299. That's $100 off. Got an HP 31.5-inch LED monitor for $179. It's $50 off. Got another Lenovo iPad 3 with a Core i7 for $579, which is $170 off. And these are both 15 point, whatever it is, inches diagonal LCD screens. HP 22-inch monitor for $89. That's probably the best deal on a monitor I saw today. Normally $109, $20 off. It's January. It's New Year resolution time. It's time to have a labeler and go and organize your stuff. All right, so Brother P-Touch PDT 400 desktop label maker for $29, $20 off. Really, the most expensive part of this whole transaction here is the label themselves. So shop around, get good prices on the labels. Also learn how to use as little label as possible between. If you print one label and then you print another label, there's going to be a lot of extra label between. If you can string out your labels together, meaning you can actually figure out a way to put, if it's a single line label, you can put the title of one label, put 10 spaces, put the next one in there. You'll save a lot of labels in the long run. Just a little pro tip there.
I leave 2 or 3 spaces between.
Yeah, whatever. So leave spaces because the space that the machine sets in between is ridiculous.
Yeah.
How much tape is wasted.
Right.
Okay, we've got an HP Slim i3 desktop for $379, which is $100 off. We've got a Seagate Backup Plus 4 terabyte external hard drive. This is the one that's got the USB ports on the front for sharing on the network. Or I should say, yeah, for sharing on it. Let me take this back. You can plug these devices in, which were shared through the USB, which can be shared through the network if you use a network sharing USB device. Very handy for adding and removing things. If you have like a NIC-R or a TP-Link router that has a USB port for sharing, you can plug this drive into that and then dynamically share even more on there. It works really well, depending on the router. A 4 terabyte drive, 99, $15 off. It's also tax season, and my accountant announced this year that no paper. Everything is going to be done through scanning and uploading. So he's got it all set to go. He's really done a nice job. He usually gives us a spreadsheet that we work from where we attach the documents to the pages of the spreadsheet, print the spreadsheet off, and then attach the documents. Well, this time you click on upload and you scan your documents in and upload them as PDFs. So you need to have a pretty good scanner. Sheet fed scanner would be a good idea. These are a little on the expensive side, but this is one of the good manufacturers, Epson. This is a 500WR wireless duplex, automatic duplex receipt and paper scanner. If you want to go with the one that doesn't have receipt support, it's $349. So it's a little bit cheaper. Okay, Samsung 1 terabyte SSD for $109, say $40. And printers still seeing pretty slim selection out there for printers, especially on Brother. I just haven't seen a lot of Brother stuff. But Canon Image Class MF26 264DW wireless inkjet printer for $149.50 off. The Brother USB monochrome laser printer with duplex. This is new on the low end printer. It's $99, it's not on sale. There's no good price for this printer. This does not have wireless, but it does now have built-in duplex, whereas the older entry-level printers did not. Here's a blast from the past, Amnon, a printing calculator. I had one for a while, and I used it. I don't remember why I needed it, but I needed it. This is part of my job. I would use it to actually I could do some inventory or something like that. And price, I don't remember why I needed to have a tape, but I actually did have a tape printing calculator. But they do make, Casio still makes them. This is the lower end of the two. There are two different versions of it, but it's a 12-digit desktop printing calculator, $24.99, $13 off. Well, it was inevitable that in the consumer space now, they're offering Quicken. This is Quicken Manage Your Money and Save version. It's $31.19. It's on sale. Usually it's $20.80. This is a subscription. This is not just buying the software outright anymore. So, but this is a one-user Quicken Deluxe for Mac and Windows DVD, $31.19. Keep in mind, again, it is a subscription. All right, so that's at Staples. Moving on to Office Depot Office Max. They have some pretty good deals. They've got this interesting desk. It's called Real Space Mobile 47-inch tech desk. What I like about it, it's on wheels. And it looks to be, I mean, it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's actually ergonomic looking, but it's $139, 60 bucks off. Got a good deal on a HP Ryzen 5 desktop for $499. Got $100 off a Dell Core i3 desktop for $399. Got some good desktop stuff here today. Got a Dell 3880 i3 desktop. Actually, that's the same machine. Sorry, I realized I made a mistake there. It is the same machine. HP Envy Pro 6455 wireless inkjet all-in-one for $149. Now, this does have a sheet feeder on the scanner, which is why I mentioned this. The Envy line is good, but it is inkjet, and I just gave my old Envy to my daughter Eve to use because she needs a scanner and a printer at home, working from home. And I still actually had a new cartridge in the package. But I don't use this anymore, simply because my printing of color was so irregular that the cartridges would dry out.
Mm-hmm.
So now I use for any color I need to do, I use my Dell color laser, and I have a sheet fed scanner on my old Brother laser. So, but HP Envy Pro 149. I've got a Western Digital 2 terabyte portable USB 3 drive for $69, which is 20 bucks off the regular price. Got a Logitech MK33 or 335 wireless keyboard and mouse combo. This is a I wouldn't consider it the entry level. It's $19, save $10. They do have one that's a little bit less feature, actually the one I'm using. So this is a fairly good keyboard. If you look at the top, it's got a lot of programmable keys. So good price, $19, 10 off. Samsung 512 gig SSD for $54.99, which is $35 off. Got a Canon image class monochrome laser printer wireless for $99, save $159. And then if you're looking for an inexpensive upgrade to your Wi-Fi, two really good products here. They're both AC standard. It's not the AX standard. It's still very expensive. But in most environments, this is going to solve some problems for you. If you have an older machine that does not have the AC standard adapter in it, here is an AC 1300 dual band wireless USB adapter for $29, save $10. And then we've got the TP-Link Archer C7. I actually have two of these, but an older and a newer version of it. That has gigabit ports on it for $59.99, which is $20 off the regular price. Both really good hardware, rock solid products. TP-Link is easy to configure. It has a very good a USB sharing port on it. It has just single click to turn it into access point mode. There's a lot of good things about this product. Okay, that was at Office Depot Office Mac. Now into Best Buy. The Apple 10.1 inch iPad latest generation is $299, so that's $30 off the regular price. I actually got this from the same iPad from Apple for $250 with a special sale a while ago. It took a while. I had to order it, but I did actually get it for $250, the same one. But still a good $299, still a good price. Their normal price is $329. Samsung 50-inch class 7 series LED 4K TV for $349. You might be able to get a little cheaper at Walmart, but I don't know if it's going to be a Samsung. But prices on TVs have just cratered. Apple iWatch Series 6 44 millimeter band with GPS, $419, which is just $10 off. But people have these, love these. I know some people who are heart patients that like this because it's got a built-in cardiac sensor that you can use for some apps. Same price for the Apple iPod AirPods, the latest model, $129. So if you can't find it at Staples, you can find it here at Best Buy. Amnon, this is for you. This is an automatic temperature control mug. $99. That's a lot of money.
Mhm.
But it will maintain the temperature of your coffee or whatever it is you're sticking there. So your hot apple cider with rum in it, whatever you're drinking.
Is it USB?
I don't know. I don't know what powers it.
Okay.
I
All
would
right.
think at 99, I think USB might not be enough to keep coffee hot like that.
Next.
It would be a strain. I know it's 5 watts or 5 volts. I'm not sure how many, what is it, 13 watts typical USB? You'd have to have you can't just use a hub for this. You'd have to have a powered charging device, which, funny, leaves us right to a high-powered 20-watt USB-C Apple charger for $19. I have a dilemma with my new Skull Candy earpods. The charging case is USB-C. And it did come with a cable, thank goodness, for regular USB hub to USB-C. That's the only USB-C device I have. So I'm going to have to get myself a couple of cables. All right, moving on.
It's battery powered and you charge it.
Yes. Yeah, so you charge the charging case, and then our AirPods sit in, or the Skull Candy thing sit in there, just like a lot of other companies do. I think I do have a USB charger pack that has a C output also. I bought this it's actually a car jumper and battery pack that has USB and USB-C outputs. I forgot about that. I wonder if that came with an adapter. I'll have to look.
I got this.
We can't see it.
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah, the one I have is
this
from.
this is solar powered. So this is
Solar
a
powered,
solar
really?
this is a solar panel. Yeah,
That's cool.
I'll show it later after when we're done with
Yeah,
this
that's nice.
special. Yeah, it's
All right.
it's bulky, but it's great for the car.
Yeah, so you can, and the solar part of it.
Oh no, but this doesn't do car startup. I have another for a car
Oh,
startup.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish this one did. It would have solved everything.
Yeah, that would be nice. HP Intel Pentium Gold entry-level desktop, 8 gig of memory, 256 gig SSD for $349, which is $50 off. Asus Chromebook, 4 gig of memory, Intel Core M3, 64 gig eMMC flash, 429. It's a little expensive for a Chromebook.
Yeah, I don't get these expensive Chromebooks. Doesn't make any sense.
What
to
is
me.
it? I think it's just a super slim.
Because they
version.
can.
Yeah,
I
'cause they
understand.
can.
I don't understand the people who buy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. It's
you can make
popular.
them, but
I've never had one. I thought about if I could get. Aren't they going to be offering now the Chromebook OS somehow? But
I
it's
think
not
it was.
Chromium. It was not Chromium, but you could actually get the Chromebook load to build your own Chromebook. There was something about that recently.
As far as I know, Chrome OS was, because it's based on an open source project. So you can theoretically install it on other machines. It's just the whole idea of a Chromebook, right, is very slim hardware because everything is online. I don't know. I have mixed feeling about these over $250 Chromebooks. It doesn't
Yes.
make any sense to me to shell in on, on good hardware and then not be able to use it locally.
What they're using them for is they're using them to control nuclear power plants, so they have to have much faster processing.
Hey, that's fine. I mean, even if that's true, that's fine. There's no problem with it as long, right, as there's a good server behind that. It's terminal
I realize
era, right? So it doesn't matter.
It's a thin client. It's a thin client.
It was cheaper for me to buy that Lenovo Windows laptop than it was for me to get a Chromebook, which I found to be quite astonishing.
That's what I mean. So weird.
Very weird, yeah.
As they say in Brooklyn, it's weird.
Water.
It's too weird for me.
Next.
Okay. HP touchscreen Core i7 12 gig 512 SSD for $599. That's $200 off. And we've got a Lenovo 24-inch LED FreeSync monitor. And what's so cool, oh, look at the stand. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
That's good reason to buy it right there, just because it's got a weird stand. But 109, which is $80 off, so it's a good deal. Samsung 970 1 terabyte PCI Express SSD for $149, say $80. And Western Digital Easy Store 4 terabyte external USB 3.0 for $94.99, say $55. That's all at Best Buy. And finally, we delve into the world of the unusual and weird at times fries, although they have some good stuff. Okay, we've got a 5x1 HDMI switch that actually has an IR remote, which I think I would love to get that, because I find myself, I have a 4-port HDMI switch that does not have a remote, and now I regret not paying a few extra dollars for it, where I really wish I had a remote, because I'm switching between several devices now. Hopefully that'll end when I finally cast off Spectrum, because I won't be switching back and forth anymore. I'll have the two ports I have on my TV will be used for direct connection to the Fire Stick and probably to.
Yeah, but again, I'm going back to what Nick told me years ago about these. You have to make sure that it passes, what is it? HDC.
That's not true, Amnon.
The control signal?
What?
That's only if you're trying to capture it. He's not. He's just trying to watch it on the TV.
Yeah, just
HDCP. HDCP doesn't matter.
Yeah, the control protocol is passed.
Okay,
no problem. So this is $34.99. It's $5 off. Got a 1x2 HDMI splitter, which in some cases is very handy. If you're in a studio environment, you want to have another monitor repeating the same thing, like if you have guests sitting there and you want to have them see their own monitor. This is $24.99 for HDMI splitter. DisplayPort to DVI adapter. I just picked this one because it's one I actually bought to have in my kit when I work on setting up new machines. DVI, I don't know whether there's DVI around much anymore, but 10-foot USB extension cable. This is a great thing to have under certain circumstances, just in your kit. If you want to extend, 10 feet is not a long way, probably no issues with signal strength. But $3.99 after $4 savings for a 10-foot extension cable. And they have different genders, so you can look that up. Vision backlit keyboard. This is a extra large print keys to reduce eye strain. This is a USB connected, not wireless. $29. It's $5 off. And then an MSI, which is a good brand, Vigor GK50 low profile mechanical gaming keyboard. That's backlit. It's got RGB lighting, $84.99, which is $15 off. We've got a 15 amp power adapter with three outlets and 3 USBs with a 5-foot extension cord. I can't tell you how good this type of a device is when you travel. I'm on my second one. The first one I left it in a hotel. I was so pissed off. But it's basically an extension cord with a couple of plugs on it and USB ports, because a lot of older hotels you go to, or the receptacles might be behind the bed, or in just a terrible place. Some newer hotels, they've got it. They know what they're doing now. They actually have it built into the desk. They have one next to the bed, or they have it built into a lamp or something. But for travel, you can't beat this. This is so nice. You plug in the extension cord to the outlet, you run it over to where you want to plug your devices into. You don't lose your mind trying to plug stuff in. So $9.99. This is the best price I've seen for one of these things.
Travel? Hotels? What are you talking about?
What?
What is that? What are these words? Travel, hotels,
friends.
Yeah, right. That's
events.
Past life. Yeah. Well,
that's why it's so cheap.
we've actually traveled. We haven't stayed in any hotels, but we've actually traveled. But we go up to visit my brother-in-law in Williamsburg. Has a guest house on his property.
It just in general, that sounds funny.
Amnon's not doing any traveling this year. It's
No.
pretty crazy.
I'm not.
He goes to his mailbox.
Yep.
Every day.
Next.
Okay. USB wireless dual band adapter. This is pretty cool. It's a Wi-Fi USB antenna that has the adapter built in. Windows 10 plug and play. $29. This is another thing, if you're a technician, to have it in your kit, because you never know when you're going to run into a situation when you're working on the machine. The Wi-Fi doesn't work. You don't have the driver. Something's not right, and you need to connect to wireless. You can't get to Ethernet. This is a really elegant solution. And then there's also something, if you have an old desktop or something that doesn't have Wi-Fi and you want to connect it over wireless, you plug this in. Very simple. It works. Okay. USB 3.0 ports, hubs, I should say, had been very expensive. So finally, the prices are starting to come down. So this is a super speed USB 3.0 4-port hub for $14.99. It's $5 off. I have a cool one I bought that actually has 4 individual ports, and each one has got its own switch. So I can turn devices on and off. And we've got a USB 3.1 Type-C hub with HDMI and 85 watt charging adapter for $49. It's all from SIG. SIG is also a good company. 100 watt 4-port charger, 2 USB-Cs, 2 USB-A, quick charge 3.0, fast charging part, supports the Qualcomm quick charging protocol. $59, save $40. And finally, a USB 3.0 4K dual video docking station. It's USB-C, which is becoming just the norm for all docking stations now. It's great. dual 4K outputs, single 5K output, was $199, now $159, so $40. And that's it for the first specials of the new year.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Good stuff. And again, anybody who wants to get that file, like I said, you go to you look on the left under, what is it? Specials.
And I
In the
instituted a
menus.
new paywall there, Amnon. So you have to just, it's only one Bitcoin,
Oh, okay.
only one.
You seen what Bitcoin's doing today?
Oh, it's what, up with 30,000, right?
30. It's sitting as of right now 33,566.
That's insane.
The
That's
price of a
insane.
Tesla.
And are
Yeah,
people
but see, here's the thing. So I've got some friends that all bought some Bitcoin. I bought some Bitcoin back in 2018. And they're like, oh, I'm selling to make a profit. I'm like, yeah, but here's the whole point. The whole reason that Bitcoin was the thing was it was a different currency. Like if you're just going to convert it back to USD, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of it. Like I obviously, if you want to make some money on it, that's fine. More power to you. But my goal is to hold it.
That's most of the people who are into Bitcoin. It's just
but it seems to me the whole thing is that with cryptocurrencies, the US dollar will collapse and you'll need something else. So why would you? I mean, I get if you're gonna, if you have a couple Bitcoins, I would agree it's probably hard to keep 90 grand worth of Bitcoin in an account. But to me, it seems like to me you want to hold on to it.
So, like with any other type of activism, right? The amount of people who really care about the meaning behind it is very low, right? It's around the 5 to 10%. These are the people who are rooting for Bitcoin to be a replacement currency. But most people who are buying Bitcoin, they're just using it as a speculative
investment
tool, right? So at this point, it's just another stock that isn't controlled by the stock market. It's controlled by the rules of exchange. It is what it is. People are saying one thing and doing the other, right? And so it's not. That's the reason Bitcoin. Look, you can use Bitcoin in a lot of things today to buy goods, right?
Yep.
But the most common good that you see Bitcoin doing the transaction is just currency.
Yeah, I don't know. Like for me, I intend on holding my Bitcoin, even though I've got a couple $1,000s worth of it. I intend on holding it because that to me is the long game of it.
But even so, you're talking about investment, right?
Yeah.
But if you're using it as currency, you're not holding it. You're using it. You're actually
that's a good point.
with it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So
I've been watching some of the Alaska reality shows, and one in particular is like if I walked into the little general store in the town of McCarthy, I should say, and told them I wanted to pay with Bitcoin, it'd be funny.
Yeah, I don't
what?
know.
No, we take whole coins, not bits of coins. You have to pay me with a whole coin.
I just find it interesting.
No.
So I mean, hey, it's tempting to sell it. It really is, but
our numbers 919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. Nick,
I'm
this
really
is
disappointed that Facebook didn't get their cryptocurrency off the ground.
Well, it's because
that's what I was hoping I'd be.
Federal Reserve tried stonewalling it. Or was the FTC? Somebody went after Libra.
Yeah. I don't know who it was. Yeah, it was a big thing back then.
All I know is I bought my Bitcoin in 2018 for $8,000 a share, or $8,000 a coin.
Here's something else for you, Nick.
Yes,
and
sir.
For everybody else. A 10-year longitudinal study, whatever, published in the Journal of Cyber Psychology behavior and social networking on a group in early adolescence from as young as 10 years old, investigated how playing violent video games at an early age would translate into adulthood behavior of 23-year-old. Titled Growing Up with Grand Theft Auto, a 10-year study of growth and violent video game play in adolescents. The study found no correlation between growing up playing video games and increased level of aggression 10 years later. This particular
Yeah,
but
but hold on a second.
Yeah.
It's got to be the video games. It can't be the drugs that pediatricians are giving children at the ages of 5, 6, and 7. It can't be that. It's got to be. It's got to be the video games.
It can't be the psychologist giving out all the behavior modification drugs.
No, definitely can't be that. Can't be the SSRIs. Can't be that. It's got to be. It's got to be the video games.
This particular study utilizes a more contemporary approach for analyzing its data, known as the person-centered approach. Traditional studies use variable-centered approach, whereby researchers treat each variable or characteristic as related to another variable. An example would be that exercising is related to reduced incidence of heart disease. This has been particularly valuable when comparing groups. In-person centered approach researchers combine various algorithms across variables to determine how these variables compare among individuals. This approach provides a more accurate depiction of how variables relate to the individual. So let your kids play.
Well, so here's the thing.
And-
I actually don't agree with that. If you've got somebody, well, I do and I don't. If you've got somebody that shows violent tendencies,
Well,
I think that those things could have an impact. But for normal people like me, who would be in this study group, who doesn't show violent tendencies, it just doesn't matter.
okay, so if
I
your
actually
kid doesn't,
think,
Yeah.
I think it's a very legitimate outlet to any violent tendencies, right? So instead of letting the kid, I don't know, abuse the cat, right? It is better that he will have an outlet for that type of, I don't know if it's rage or not, but right, that type of feelings inside a safe environment, rather safe, like video games. The real thing is, and I think that's one of the things that I'm completely missing when true discussion about violence and any media of sorts happens, is how active are you, and are you active against other people, and how much of your day is invested in that, as opposed to how much of your day is invested in social interactions, right? So when any form of media, social media, any human interaction is being replaced completely, right? Then of course it's a cause of trouble. But when this is just part of your day, part of your whole interaction, and you do have face-to-face human interaction in between, right, and it doesn't replace it completely, then of course there's nothing unhealthy about it, right? And anybody trying to claim that will find any number of researchers eventually showing there's no correlation.
It comes down
So-
to good parenting. From a
It's not only about parenting.
from a child development perspective, if you're not aware of what your child is doing, or you're just I see people in the mall. What's the mall? I mean, I've seen airports and things where you got a kid, 18 months old, holding a tablet in a stroller, right? This is the stuff that people are doing. They're just handing off their parental responsibilities to technology. If they want to do that stuff with their kid, do it with them. Let them learn something from it, but don't just use it as keep the kid. Go to restaurants, you see people with little kids sitting there playing games on the phone while the parents are talking. So, wait a second.
It's a new generation, Vince.
I know it's my generation, but there are responsible parents out there, and I see them. They understand, but there are also people having kids who don't understand, they are themselves products of a generation, the first hands-on generation with technology. And to them, unless their parents were grounded them, they're not grounded.
Yeah.
I love technology. I want to use it to make a better world and better people. But anything that's abused, it could have been print material that's abused. If you're not aware of what your kids are reading or doing or talking about or watching on TV, this is 50 years ago that was true. So,
all right. And before the show is over, an announcement, sports lovers. For the first time since the service arrived in April 2018, the ESPN Plus annual plan is getting a price increase. From January 8th, it'll cost new members $59.95 instead of $49.95. The monthly plan went up by $1. Now, why you need to act fast if it's important to you? Of course, you'll save more if you lock an annual plan before the increase. So if you do have ESPN Plus and you can't live without it, then you need to lock in an annual plan before January 8th. And you save almost 120, $120.
No, you say $12. You said it's going to buy $1.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, $12. No, $12 if you're month to month. $10.
Okay.
$10 if you're
a
year. And I'm sure the people that are using or watching ESPN Plus, they probably want to keep it going and going and going. So, why? Do you have it, Nick?
No.
Oh.
I saw a funny meme yesterday, and Gal will appreciate this. It was a guy in like 2010, right? That's it. So 2010. He had a pirate hat on, and it showed Netflix on the screen. He goes, "Oh, this is pretty cool." So he takes his pirate hat off and puts it in a drawer, and then it fast forwards to 2020, and it shows Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, all these services, and he opens up the drawer, and his pirate hat's got all these cobwebs, and he puts it back on. I mean, no, piracy is going to explode over the next 3 to 5 years. This stuff is retarded, what these streaming services are doing. You could spend $400 a month. I'm convinced you could spend probably close to that on all of these services. There are so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you'd have great overlap. The biggest one is now The Office, which tends to be one of those, which has been a Netflix digital show for 10 years. I don't know how long it's been on Netflix. It's been one of the staples of Netflix. And since NBC owns the licensing to it, it's now a Peacock show.
And they figure they can make more money doing it themselves.
Well, they own it. So why would they not? It's their IP.
So one, for anybody who is listening, right? One of the simple tricks is, let's say you already own a Netflix subscription. Netflix is working worldwide, and in each country, there is different content. For example, here in the States, you will never get on Netflix The Big Bang Theory, right? But if you hook up to your same Netflix account through a VPN connecting to Germany, for example, you'll get the Big Bang Theory over there in English, with everything exactly as you like. It's just over there, Netflix is probably the biggest player in streaming, and they own the rights for those American shows over there. So is using a VPN piracy? Because if you're asking Netflix, they say yes, right? Their terms of service explicitly state you should not be using VPNs, and not only that, it is grounds for banning. But you're still paying for the content, right? They still own the content. They're still getting revenue for it. Why is it limited by regions? Why?
Because it's
is
legal.
everything siloed? Yeah, right. So the legal battle is on again, and
what it has, I mean, what it has to do is in overseas. For example, the Big Bang Theory, which I think is on CBS, is probably not licensed by CBS overseas. It's handled by somebody else.
Right.
It might be Sky, it might be BBC. It's whoever owns the licensing to it, and that's why there's such a discrepancy on different foreign versions of Netflix.
Yep.
It's all have to do with licensing. But Gal, good point. It's against their terms of service.
Right. So is it piracy or not?
No, I don't.
Well, paying everybody to do
no,
it.
Actually, no. It technically
piracy?
would be considered piracy because you don't have the legal license for it. You're not a resident of that municipality, whatever the municipality is. I would make the argument it is piracy because you're licensing.
But what if you are a citizen of Germany? What then?
Well, no, then you would be paying for. Then you have German Netflix.
Yeah, but you're currently working and living in the States.
Yeah.
So why am I siloed out of something that I should have access to?
Because of licensing.
Exactly. So the licensing never serves the consumer.
No,
that's
absolutely
why
not.
The pirate hat is being taken out of the drawer.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stone cold ridiculous that this is what's going on right now. I mean, it's
but
insane.
It is also, well, I mean, it's ridiculous, but it is also completely and absolutely predictable, right?
Netflix and Spotify at almost the exact same time stopped piracy for a large majority of people. They really have. Spotify's held by it. Spotify has continued. I've paid for Spotify for 6 or 7 years. I cannot tell you the last time I downloaded music, either iTunes or legally. There's no reason to do it. But now that there are so many, and it's not Netflix's fault that all these services have popped up, but now that there's so many of these services, they've lost it. So music streaming's done a bang up job between Spotify, Apple Music, and Pandora. I don't know why you would torrent music. It's a huge pain in the ass for no benefit, really. But video streaming, on the other hand, is just turned into a freaking nightmare.
True.
I mean, and then you have, like, for example, HBO Go or HBO Max isn't available on Roku. So if you pay for HBO Max, you can't watch it on a Roku because there's no app. Because there's a dispute between Roku and HBO. So you pay for the subscription service, and then you can't even watch it on your TV.
Look, we're in a sort of Betamax VHS, only with like 15 different formats right now, battle, right? So something is it's going to stabilize eventually. But the thing is that we're still in a transition phase. Now, heads down to Netflix. They're probably, because they were the first, they also saw this coming, right? And that's why they invested on their own content, because they understood that they will not be able to hold on with the type of success that they're seeing, right? They will not be able to hold on to all of the catalog, and so they started creating their own. But with music, that was never really the case, because music led the way. Spotify had to basically force or coerce the MPA, the RIAA, right, to seeing that it's for their benefit to shift to that model.
Mm-hmm.
And so
it is.
they work directly with the record companies. But think of the situation where and Sony for a while, which they were one of those, right? They tried running their own system, and it didn't work. So it's just they got lucky that it didn't work. And if you look and you compare Spotify to Apple Music and to Amazon, Deezer, and all of the other services, none of them are battling on content. They're all battling on quality. They're battling on on a completely different set of completely different vocabulary, right? And the movie is all about content, and I think it has to do with the creators themselves. In music, a creator for a piece of music is usually limited to what, top 5 people, right? And when you're talking about movies, it's always these huge companies producing something very, very complex, right? Just look at the titles of a movie production, right? If a production of a record ends up with 10 to 20 people, a movie you cannot start without 100 people being involved, right? So
Just look at the credits of any movie today, and
Yeah.
you'll see 10 or 15 different production companies all are on board. It's
right,
amazing.
and so the playing field is completely different. It will converge. It will converge eventually because they will. That's the only way they could fight piracy effectively, right? So there'll come a service at one time. They'll say, "I can give you, instead of cable, giving you 2 premium sites, then you'll get like 3 packaged in the same deal." But it's gonna take time. And again, piracy will lead the way, just like it did with music.
We're sorting it out for them, or they're using us to sort it out.
Yeah, I don't know. It sucks that as a consumer, there is not a realistic way for most people to consume content like that because it's just so scattered. It sucks.
I think the biggest problem for me is the fact that there is no real a la carte often. To say,
And
here's the
that's a
content I
complaint that
want.
viewers,
Yeah.
and that's a complaint viewers have since what, the 80s?
Oh yeah. Since cable came out.
Yep.
I can remember going to the movies. I don't know if you're old enough, Gal, where you go into a regular movie in the beginning and they'd actually show an advertisement to say, pay TV is coming, and how and they show a cartoon of a television set with a coin slot in the top and just money pouring into it. Beware of pay TV. They knew what was coming.
Yeah. Well, there is completely a la carte. You can disconnect from everything and just rent content. But again,
not individual shows. Not individual shows, though. Not individual.
No, you can.
Yeah, you have to. It has to be a channel. Yeah.
No. You can go to Amazon, right? If it's not on Amazon Prime and there's a season, you can pay to just see the season. You can rent it.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to say that, here's the current shows in production that I want to watch, and that's it. It would be nice.
Yeah. In production, you're right. You're completely right. Yeah.
I'm finding though that the experience of us, I have my whole cord cutting system in place now. We just haven't dropped spectrum yet because AT&T is building in the neighborhood for fiber. Mm-hmm. So I want to drop the whole thing at once. I don't want to just give up everything except my internet connection. But we're ready to go. And so far, the only issue, the biggest issue we had was that the Amazon Fire Stick software, they decided to change it about 2 weeks ago. They changed and it's like, wait a minute, we just spent all this time learning how to use this and you changed it.
Really?
Yeah. It's a little bit it actually isn't bad because now they've aggregated a lot of stuff. They did this before where you could go and say, oh, I've been watching this on Amazon Prime and I'm watching this on Netflix, and it would show the things you've been watching. Well, now they include even more, like Philo TV is there and Amazon, IMDb TV is there, and it's all listed. So you can go and look and see without opening those apps what you want to watch. So it's the continuity is there for you now. That wasn't there before, and we're getting used to that. So I think it's a great idea. If you can get an aggregator platform like that can take all the stuff that you like and is smart enough to present it to you in a simple format without having to, oh, gee, what app was that on? Was that on the Roku? Was that on the Amazon Fire?
Right.
I don't remember. So you can go and you just say, I want to watch this. It opens the app and you're done. You go.
So that's part of what's happening. You're right. Fire TV started to do it a lot better. TiVo, with their Android OS based solution, is doing that as well. Really interesting because I run most of my media from a Plex server, right? So searching and seeing something that is available on Amazon Prime, and whether it's on my server already, right? So if it won't find it on Amazon Prime, it'll show me if it's on my server, and I click it and it just plays from my content, right? That's fantastic. That's
The one thing they did that was nice too is that they have it when I added the Recast TV, it had a guide for all the broadcast channels. When I added Philo, suddenly Philo now was part of the directory. There was a separation. Like you'd scroll through, here's all your live channels, here's Philo. Then I added IMDb TV. Now that's listed under the directory. So it's a consolidated directory, which is brilliant. I mean, if you can get that all to work right, it's great.
All right. One more thing here. Who's using Google's CloudPrint?
I used it from time to time.
Another service is joining the Google graveyard, for better or worse, as the latest in long series of Google service shutdowns. Google Print will be terminated in just a few short hours. That was from right before the New Year's, meaning it will no longer be accessible for Chrome OS customers or others. So they closed it. It's at this point it's closed. Apparently they closed it on New Year's.
So how would you print from a Chromebook?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, there is something called Internet Printing Protocol, which has become the standard. So I'm guessing the Google infrastructure is no longer required for that. But I wonder if everything is as easy to transition.
What is direct print? Something like that?
Direct print is when you connect directly to the printer via it uses the printer's 2.4 or 5 gigahertz radio, and it's like ad hoc. You're connected directly.
So it's Wi-Fi direct with printing over it.
Wi-Fi direct sucks. You don't want to do Wi-Fi direct.
Yeah, I know.
What is the underlying? Is it using something like what does Apple use? What's their discovery protocol for printers?
And it doesn't use that. No, it's just regular. So like if you get like an HP all-in-one, right, on the back it'll have two different passwords. It'll have a Wi-Fi direct password. And if you open up your wireless access point on your computer, you can connect to the HP printer. But that's a bad way to print. It's a very unreliable, in my opinion, and I just don't like it.
If you were using,
give your printer a static IPv4 address and call it a day.
Yeah, and that will also work from a Chromebook, right?
That'll work from anything.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here's something else that people need to be aware of. More than 100,000 Zyxel firewalls, VPN gateways, and access point controllers contain a hard-coded admin-level backdoor account that could grant attackers root access to devices via either the SSH interface or the web administration panel. Now, remember, I mean, that doesn't mean that you have to own a Zyxel thing. A lot of devices use the Zyxel platform, so to speak. The backdoor account, discovered by a team of Dutch security research from iControl, is considered as bad as it gets in terms of vulnerabilities. Device owners are advised to update systems as soon as time permits. Security experts warn that anyone, ranging from DDoS botnets operators to state-sponsored hacking groups and ransomware gangs, could abuse this backdoor account to access vulnerable devices and pivot to internal networks for additional attacks. Zyxel was one of the names, modems to have back in 80s, 90s. It's good equipment, but obviously they have a problem. And I'll bet you that when it's all over, they're going to find out that I don't know where it's made, but it's probably Chinese.
Well,
Yeah, but it's a software that has nothing to do with the fact that it was manufactured there. Ooh,
That's true
I
too.
became
Oh,
green.
there you go. Yep.
that's on your end though, Amnon. I don't see him like that.
Well, why would I see everything else okay?
I'm just
Right.
saying when he's green on your
It
camera, I don't
didn't
see him like
happen
that.
on my end as well. I'm using and here it is okay now.
Yeah,
That is
interesting.
weird.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's at the end of the show.
Yeah. I mean, it just, be aware of this. And if you do have a Zyxel firewall, VPN gateway, access point controller.
This just happened with SonicWall too. Maybe
Wow.
3 months ago,
Ooh,
there was a similar issue with SonicWall.
not good.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff happens, especially when you've got older units out there that are out of support. We were able to. It actually worked out really well for us because we were able to sell a bunch of new firewalls to customers that had old, unsupported.
Well, I mean, this got nothing
systems.
to do with support. This is hard-coded admin-level backdoor.
Correct.
It's like
but a
it
software
was
update will fix
designed.
it. Yeah, but a software update will fix it.
Oh, yeah, it will.
Right, but it means it has been there for years.
Yeah.
That's
Which
what
was
it
the same case with the SonicWall. It was like all SonicWall firmwares from 10 to 14
Mhm.
had this vulnerability. So
Amazing.
It's developers leaving their easy way in, not taking it out after they're done fixing it.
Yeah.
developing the
Yeah,
product.
yeah. It's literally that. Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Nothing. All right. What else?
Kill everyone.
What else?
Not much.
All right. Um. Guess I don't have much more. Hmm. I'm looking at the Ninja, and it says that it's only been recording for 1 hour 22 minutes.
That's not right.
I know. Um. So I guess, God, I guess I may need to reinstall Zoom also.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe.
It was happening.
I would use bulk crap uninstaller to
Check it out.
remove the Zoom to
Yep.
make sure it removes any residue
Mhm.
and then reinstall it.
BCU, baby.
All right.
Amazing piece of software. Amazing.
Incredible piece of software.
Yeah.
Literally can't say enough good things about it. It's freaking
Yeah.
incredible.
And well, yeah, you can say something about it. Oh, talk about it. Why
We've
couldn't
talked about it. We talked
why-
about it a whole bunch.
Yeah. Why couldn't Microsoft do something like that?
You don't want Microsoft to do that.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
something better than what they have.
Any
Hmm.
any such application
Yeah.
that would come from a paid outfit,
Mhm.
you will not be able to trust.
Okay.
Because what this does is undermine every software developed for this platform, right? This application needs to come from the assumption I cannot trust any developer who wrote a piece of software to remove itself completely.
Mhm.
So Microsoft provides all of that infrastructure to the original developer, right? But they are neglecting their responsibility. Let's call it that way. Okay, they're not looking at all aspects. So, and there are a lot of companies writing. There used to be back in the beginning of the 2000s. There was a boom, right? CCleaner came out, and then a lot of other commercial companies came up with commercial uninstallers or shareware uninstallers that you would download and they would buy us advertise to buy it. None of them you can trust because they themselves they leave behind a lot of crap behind, and so there needs to be a way of cleaning that up. Now, if you're asking why Microsoft can't do it, they've done it. They've done it actually a bunch of times. The applications that you install through the Microsoft Store, the ones that are called modern, I think, applications,
The Windows
they are
10 apps.
completely, yeah, the Windows 10 apps. I think their name is modern. Those are completely self-engulfed, and the removal is done by the OS and the installation is done by the OS. And so those are completely siloed. They're a lot like Android apps or iPhone apps, which are they live completely in their own world and they do not embed themselves deeply into the OS. The OS has full control over that. But
Hmm.
they're limited in what they can allow you to do on the system. So it's it's a give and take game.
Yeah.
But a tool like bulk upload, a bulk crap uninstaller is because it is engineered by a community of developers, right? And because it's completely open source and because it's like free in spirit free, it is this hammer for all when it comes to removal, which is it's pretty fantastic.
All right. Yeah. I'll do it later on this afternoon.
Sure.
All right. All right, guys. If there is nothing else anybody wants to mention, let's end it here.
Nick, you need to keep us or keep us in mind with reporting back from your trip to DC.
I'm not going. I
You're not
can't.
going.
No, I couldn't get the time off.
Oh.
So sucks to suck.
All right. So thanks, Nick, Gal, Spence. It was fun. Happy New Year again. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Dana, Dina, Arleton, Micha, Katie, I see you, and Eleanor. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Nick, you doing a show tonight?
Not sure yet.
Okay, well, you can always go and listen to others.
Correct.
Sunday,
Yeah, I'm thinking probably not, but there might be. It depends.
Sunday evenings at 7 o'clock at atnshow.com is where Nick does his Against the Norm. And if you're in Wilmington, you can listen to it on 106.7 FM. And Tuesday, Nick also does the Infection Podcast for survival games. And it's growing. It's been growing for the last, 5 years?
It's going on 6 years.
6 years.
Yipper.
So go visit. And see you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.